In today's episode, Jackie asks, how does all this fancy data science kung fu hubbub help us? We're a traditional sales company that only makes phone sales cold calls. Well, um, data science is a methodology. It is a methodology that can be applied to any data you have. Remember that data science is the extraction of meaningful insights from data using the scientific method. So the question is, there's a whole bunch of questions, but first is, what do you want to improve? If you are selling via cold call, that is a very labor-intensive practice, right? You have to spend time, even if you've got the dialing part automated, there's a lot of time and effort picking up the phone and talking to people, right? People take time. And so you would like to be able to do more calls, to be more productive. You would like to be able to have better outcomes, right? To be able to sell more stuff, to get fewer people who say mean words to you and hang up angrily, and more people who would be willing to give you, 5 or 10 or 30 minutes or however long your cold call process is to hear the pitch and possibly say yes. So you have questions you need answered, right? How do I make myself more efficient? How do I make myself more effective? Data science is one of those tools that you can use, a methodology you can use to answer those questions. In the case of cold calling, I would hope that you have data from the past about what constitutes successful and unsuccessful cold calls. So you should ideally have a list of numbers you've called, who those people were. If you're B2C, the characteristics of those people, where they came from, where you got their number from. Typical demographic information, such as like age, household income, gender, etc. For businesses, that would be firmographic information that you would have. And you would want to use data science techniques, particularly statistical techniques, to understand what do the people who are successful cold calls in the past, what do they have in common, right? Remember that you're going to have a lot of engineered data as well. So you should have the date and the time that you made a call. And so from that, you would extract the year, the month, the day of the week, the day of the month, the day of the quarter, the hour of the day, the minute of the day, how long each call was, how long did it take for someone to pick up, how many rings did it take. As you can see, just from a simple action like picking up the phone and calling someone, there's a lot of extra data you can engineer out of it. And all of those statistics are things that you would then feed to data science software to figure out what features or data points, either alone or in combination with each other, lead to a successful outcome. This is a technique. The formal technique name or the specific technique name is called binary classification. You have an outcome, successful call, unsuccessful call, and then you have all the information that went into it, and you would run a binary classification algorithm on the data and figure out, are there things that indicate the likelihood of a successful call? And maybe it is hour of the day, maybe it is household income, or a number of family members. On the business side, it might be annual revenue. It could be domain name. Whatever the thing is, you then find your classifiers, which have a thing called feature importance, or how important a particular data point is. And then you begin testing. Right? You begin the scientific method. If calling at lunchtime on Tuesdays is the thing that is most likely, according to the algorithm, related to a successful outcome, then you eat lunch early on Tuesdays, double the number of calls that you do during Tuesday at lunchtime, and you test. You see how many successful calls there were. Ideally, you do it like a control test where maybe you and a coworker do calling on Tuesdays around lunchtime. and you make double the number of calls, your coworker makes the same number of calls, and if that they normally do, and ideally you're doing double the number of calls they are during that Tuesday lunchtime. Maybe they take half an hour off for lunch. And then you compare your results after a few Tuesdays and say, okay, now, is our hypothesis correct? Does calling on Tuesdays at lunchtime yield more successful results than not? And by having that control of doing things normally on a Tuesday versus doubling the volume on a Tuesday at lunchtime, do you see greater success rates? Do you see a statistically significant difference in success rate? That's how you approach all these problems. Just because you're doing what we consider traditional or old school sales doesn't mean that you don't have data or that you can't use data science techniques to improve those processes. Same for, postal direct mail. Postal direct mail can be very, very effective in specific circumstances, in specific situations. If you know what data you have, you can be very efficient in your mailing. Instead of spending $1 million to drop postcards to every single person on the planet, you have maybe 500 households that or that you're going to test for the likelihood of much greater improved responses. That's how you use this stuff. That's how you apply the scientific method to your data, develop testing criteria, and then see if you get causation, see if you get better results. That's data science, and that's how you apply it to any of these situations. So step out of the mindset that you're doing something traditional and that there's all this fancy new technology, and step into the mindset of the scientific method. What can we prove or disprove about an important question to our business using our data? That's where the change for you will come, and make your business, no matter what it is, make it better. Thanks for the question. As always, please leave your follow-up comments in the comments box below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and the newsletter. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Want help solving your company's data analytics and digital marketing problems? Visit trustinsights.ai today and let us know how we can help you.